What's up, guys? Matt O'Leary back with the Jets news of the day. I am excited to get into this one. Trying to turn the page. It's Dolphins week. It's a short week. The Jets play on Friday, first ever Black Friday game. The Jets are going to be in their all black uniforms. The last time the Jets had a spot starter come in while they were wearing their all black uniforms, can anyone tell me? Mike White against the Bengals. They're going to repeat it, baby. And now, wait, no. Pause. Mike White against the Chicago Bears was also an all-black uniform game. So, are we noticing a trend here? Am I going to talk myself into it? No, I'm not going to do it. But could you imagine? Let's go for the three-peat. I would sign the hell up for that, please. Also, last time they wore their black jerseys for real was the Zach Wilson game against Jacksonville, which is, we don't have to talk about that. We're going to talk about the spot starter coming in wearing the black uniforms. And when you didn't really know what that was, which was the game, really the Mike White Bengals game. Anyway, Mekhi Becton injury update. That is what you guys want to hear. Mekhi Becton supposedly has a grade 1 ankle sprain, expected to miss 1 to 2 weeks. That's the expectation. Now, the good news is it's not a high ankle sprain. High ankle sprains are worse. A lower ankle sprain is better. It is easier to come back from. A high ankle sprain is something that can nag you for multiple weeks, sometimes like more than a month. Like, honestly, it depends. The high ankle sprains are a pain in the ass to deal with, but this is a grade 1 ankle sprain. It's a low ankle sprain, which is not nearly as bad. It's not great, obviously, if he has to miss 1 or 2 games, but it's better than what the alternative could have been, which with 7 games to go and a high ankle sprain might have been tough for a guy of Mekhi Becton's size to come back and play. But speaking of coming back to play, according to Josina Anderson, Mekhi Becton's going to try to play on Friday. Now, as she says, he may still end up being ruled out, but moral of the story, he's going to give it a go. I personally would not bet on him playing. I think that's a really big ask on a short week to go from Sunday when the injury happened, getting carted off, to playing on Friday. That would be an insane turnaround. But a few things I think are going into this. Number one, it's a contract year for Mekhi Becton. Injuries have plagued him throughout the entirety of his career. Unfortunately, I'm upset that injuries have come in and played a factor in Mekhi Becton's career, because I think he's a talented guy. But if he misses time again, going to the contract table, whether it's with the Jets or any other team, they're going to say, you played 1 game in 2 years and then you missed time last year due to injury. How could we possibly give you X amount of dollars or whatever he and his agent are looking for? And it's sad, but I get it. Like, I really do. And I'm sure during the offseason, we're going to have a ton of time to get into whether or not the Jets should or shouldn't bring back Mekhi Becton. And that's not what this is necessarily about right now. But from his perspective, he wants to get out there and play to show that I am that guy. And I get that. And number 2 is, guys do like to play for Robert Saleh for every flaw that he has. And he does have flaws, believe me. I think, during the streak, there were some things to really like about Robert Saleh. And when things are going poorly, there are some things that are really questionable about Robert Saleh. You're not going to get any sort of pushback from me on that one. If you're not a Robert Saleh guy, I'm okay. I get it. I hear you. And if you're someone on the table who's like, you got to see him with a real quarterback, give him another chance, injuries, I hear that side too. I do. I'm not going to convince you either way. I think they both, him and Douglas, probably come back next year and think they probably deserve the chance. But this is like the 3rd time I'm saying it this week. But if either of them loses their job, I don't have a lot of sympathy for them. It would be what it is. But moral of the story, people do like to play for him. I would personally be pretty surprised if we did see him play, which would mean you have to get Dwayne Brown back. And this is an important week for Dwayne Brown, because if he is not activated this week, he cannot return for the entire season. And in case you don't know, or you're wondering why is that the case, is because when you go on IR for 4 weeks, once they activate that practice window, right, you have a 3-week span to when they can make you active again for a game. And if they don't, then you're out for the year. That's it. So this is really his final chance. This is the 3rd week. It's now or never. And if Mekhi can't play, Am I rooting for Dwayne Brown to come back? I probably would rather Mekhi Becton and Max Mitchell as the tackles, but if he can't go, I guess Dwayne Brown coming back would be a plus. I can't believe that this is the state of the Jets offensive line now with a number of injuries. Last year was really bad with the number of injuries. It happened again with the injuries on the offensive line this year. I guess we're rooting for Dwayne Brown to come back, because if not, then you're probably getting Carter Warren, who actually I thought held up okay. Carter Warren, Max Mitchell. Oh, God. Not ideal. Speaking of the quarterback situation, which I wasn't necessarily speaking on it, but I was thinking in my head, Tim Boyle's going to start, as we know. But Trevor Siemian was officially called up to the active roster finally after he was added after week 3. He has been on the practice squad, has not been elevated to the main roster from week 4 through now, which is week 12 of the NFL season. So he is going to be the backup quarterback. Zach Wilson goes to QB3. Robert Saleh said that yesterday. I think that makes the most sense. I would not have Zach Wilson activated. This is, I think we're eventually going to get Trevor Siemian to play on this Jets team. I'm not convinced Tim Boyle is going to be great. And I don't think they go back to Zach Wilson at any point. I think that this is it. With how Robert Saleh was talking about him, he's a QB3 now. They need to really take a look and see what these other two guys have, because what they got out of Zach Wilson wasn't enough. For the sake of the locker room, I don't know if you can go back to Zach Wilson, because they're thinking this is the same thing that happened last year. I felt like the team quit up in Buffalo. All those things are very, very true. So I wouldn't be surprised. Like, this will be the third Jets starting quarterback, technically, because you had Aaron Rodgers start week 1. You lose him in the first game. Then Zach Wilson, then Tim Boyle. I would not be surprised at all if we see Trevor Siemian start one of the remaining, at that point, 6 games. We'll see what Tim Boyle does. I guess I'm excited for Tim Boyle. Not really, but different is better now, I guess. I don't know. Who knows at this point? We'll see on Sunday, but wanted to talk to you about the Mekhi Becton injury news and also about Trevor Siemian being elevated up from the practice squad. Let me know your thoughts on both down below in the comments. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.